welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Even better if it's your first time. Thanks for joining me. It's Kevin. It's Friday. It's live from lockdown number 49. And more importantly, I think my 1 year anniversary of doing this. My almost weekly live stream from my somewhat nomadic lockdown studio that's been happening since Friday, March 27th of last year. If you'd have told me on March 27th last year I'd still be doing this a year from then, and where I'd been and what's gone on since then, I would never have believed you. Anyway, I'm sure happy to have so many wonderful friends and supporters who are tuning in again and again. So appreciate all your love and support and all your listening to all this music over all this time. And as I said in my notes this week, it's my first anniversary, and honestly, I hope it's my only anniversary. But in the meantime, happy to keep doing it. I start, as I usually do, by acknowledging where I sit. I'm coming to you from my lockdown studio now in the village of Leith, within the city of Edinburgh, the wonderful city of Edinburgh in the marvellous country of Scotland. An amazing place with an amazing history of Scots and Celts and Picts and invading Romans and invading English and all kinds of people who have been here over many, many millennia. And it's truly an honor to share this land and to be in this place at this time. And a huge thanks in particular to the many people who are here now and who have extended a very warm welcome to me, this nomadic Canadian ending up in this place. So thanks to all of you, you know who you are in particular, who've given me so much love and support while I've been here. Thank you. That was It Might As Well Be Spring. I did a bunch of spring songs last week to celebrate the beginning of spring, and there were some more on the list. There's a lot of tunes referencing spring. So I thought I'd do a couple more today. That's one of them. It Might As Well Be Spring. One of the things that happens in spring is the clocks change, and if you found me, you know that there's a bit of a time zone disjuncture yet again this week. If you're in North America, I'm an hour later than I normally am because you went to daylight savings time and we here in the UK didn't. But that happens early on Sunday morning. So starting next week, we're all back to our usual time. If you're in Toronto or Montreal or New York or North Carolina, I'll be on at 4. 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, and as usual, still 9 p.m. here in the UK. A little bit later in farther east in Europe. Hope you can keep coming back. And if you do keep coming back, you know that every week I thank you for your generosity, and I say that if you have an income and you're able to support live music endeavors like this, then those of us who are trying to survive in the music world sure appreciate it. There are links in the notes, the Facebook notes on the side of the page, to my PayPal account. If you're in Canada, you can send me an e-transfer to my email address along the bottom here. If you want to send me some money and you can't contact me, just send me an email or give me a call and I'll hook you up. But more importantly, please stick around and enjoy the music. No pressure about the money, whether you got some or not. If you want to support somebody else this week, totally great. Yeah, more music. I'm going to get right into birthday wishes this week because there's a few of them. I'm going to start by acknowledging one of my very favorite bands from Toronto, which is a fabulous band called Red Hot Ramble, which dedicates itself to the music based around the second line groove native to New Orleans. In fact, they play a monthly gig at the fabulous Rex Hotel in Toronto when live gigs can happen, that they call Second Line Sundays, and I've been privileged to be a guest on those gigs a number of times, and actually played on a track of the last album that Red Hot Ramble released. It was quite an honor. So Red Hot Ramble is led by two fabulous musicians and very good friends. Roberta Hunt plays piano and sings, and Glenn Anderson keeps the second line groove together on the drums. And they both have birthdays within striking distance of today's show. Roberta's, I think, was Tuesday of this week, and Glenn's is coming up Thursday next week. So I thought I'd combine those and honor Red Hot Ramble and Glenn and Roberta. Wish them a very happy birthday. I don't really play a lot of second line music, at least not on my own, but here's a tune that I like to play that sort of has that groove. I pre-recorded myself a little loop to help out that I hope is going to work. This is a tune by John Scofield called Do Like Eddie. which, as I say, I plays around a simple bass line loop and kind of a second line groove that I hope you like. I also want to send this out to another birthday, although there is another birthday request coming up. Sorry, not request, but a dedication coming up to my good friend Rob Faust, who's in California at the moment. But Rob grew up in New Orleans, so I figured a New Orleans tune or New Orleans flavor tune had to acknowledge that birthday as well. Rob had a birthday on Tuesday. So to Rob, and especially to Glenn and Roberta, here's John Scofield's Do Like Eddie. like Eddie. Happy birthday, Roberta. Happy birthday, Glenn. Happy birthday, Rob. Happy birthday, anybody else. I've been taken to saying this these days. If it's your birthday this week and I'm missing you, I'm really sorry. Like, I do my best. But if your birthday doesn't sort of cross my radar in the moments when I'm thinking about this show, then I might miss it. But you know that I wish you a happy birthday anyway. I believe in celebrating birthdays. Like the first birthday of Live from Lockdown. Celebrating that. So thank you very much. Time for me just to have a look. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. All kinds of great people. Look at all you fabulous people tuning in. Thank you. Hello, Dave. Hello, Ola. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Lorraine. Patricia Cano. No one's sending me urgent messages that I'm sounding bad, so I'm going to trust that things are okay. Ashling. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Ashling's close by over in Newtown. I got some neighbors watching the show tonight. That's pretty cool. All right. Ballad time. I'm going to play a pretty ballad for you. Another spring. This is the second of 2 spring tunes. I'm continuing the spring theme. Now that we are unarguably into spring, I mentioned last week that I was having some arguments with a very articulate young 14-year-old who was insisting that spring started at the beginning of March, and I told him I went by the equinox. Truth is, this tune is named for spring, but it's really a winter song. It's called You Must Believe in Spring. It's a beautiful piece of music written by Michel Legrand, with lyrics by the great Alan and Marilyn Bergman, who contributed a lot of great tunes in the sort of more recent era of the American songbook. It's also, of course, the title track to a beautiful, beautiful record by Bill Evans, a real inspiration for me, great jazz piano player. And it's a tough tune, but we'll see how I do. It's a beautiful ballad called You Must Believe in Spring. You Must Believe in Spring by Michel Legrand. You know, I thought about reading a chart while I played that, and I tried to do it out of my head, and I mostly got through it, but if you know that tune well, you'll know I got myself into a bit of trouble a couple of times. My apologies for that. That's a really tough tune, but thanks for sticking with me. I'm just looking at my my comments, and I'm noting that Ashling says spring starts in February by the Celtic calendar. Yes, my articulate young 14-year-old friend who is Irish by citizenship insists that spring starts in February. But I have to tell you, for a boy from Canada, there's no way for me to put that together. Spring starts on the 21st of March, and most of the places I've lived in my life, it's still mighty wintry then. So anyway, let's keep celebrating spring, shall we? I often talk about my my good friend Stuart Seidel, who lives in Vancouver on the west coast of Canada. He's the source of many of the charts for tunes I play on the mandolin, and he's a very interesting guy, involved in a lot of things, and always sending interesting links around. He knows that I'm working on mandolin, and he's always trying to draw me into paying attention to some of those old-time tunes. So he sent me a link to a really fabulous video of Don Julin and David Grisman playing this next tune, It Had to Be You. It was quite inspiring, and I hadn't played this tune on the show. It's not a tune I really knew very well, so I thought I'd work it up. I made the mistake of sending a message to Stuart thanking him for the video and saying, yeah, it's sort of a simple jazz tune I might work on, and I got quite schooled in a response from Stuart about simple tunes and not simple tunes, and by his description, this does not fit the definition of a simple tune, but it's not that complicated. Anyway, it's a lovely old standard. It's called It Had to Be You. I discovered while practicing it this week that my very favorite Scottish singer knows this tune and likes it. And I'm kind of thinking that she and I are going to have to put that into our repertoire. So I'm going to send this out to Susanna McDonald in particular. I'm going to play a little rubato out-of-time version, and then I'm going to record a loop to play along with, and we'll see what happens. It Had to Be You. It had to be you. I should know better than try to play jazz on one of these things. Anyway, there you go. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, all of you. I should say, on the subject of my struggles with mandolin, I had a problem with my mandolin this week. One of the tuning pegs broke, and I wasn't sure what to do. And you may remember me mentioning my good friend John Farrell, Fingers Farrell. I don't know if he's tuned in this week. But he's fixed a number of my instruments since I got here. He's a great friend and a very skilled guy. I sent him an email with a photo of the broken peg. I said, any idea what to do about this? And of course, he's the kind of guy who's got boxes of parts for instruments sitting around his studio. And he said, I think I have something, might be able to do it. And he tried to describe it. He says, I'll come by. He came by this morning. I was thinking he was just going to have a look, and then maybe we were going to meet up next week. In the meantime, I've been tuning this with pliers. And sure enough, he took the mandolin at the front door, went to the back of his car, pulled out a screwdriver, made a few adjustments, and came back with a new tuning machine on my mandolin. So what a guy. Thank you, John. And I think we've got a solution for fixing this up even better, putting some new, better tuners on it very soon. So I'm a lucky man to have such good friends around here. I'm going to stay with the mandolin for you Yippers mandolin people. There's Talia Blacking. I was just going to mention you. Talia is a fantastic fiddle player who lives here in Edinburgh, from Ireland originally. And through Facebook posts a few weeks ago, Talia introduced me to the music of the great Andy Dixon, a marvelous, marvelous musician, originally a fingerstyle guitarist who became a fiddle player after injuring his right hand, and a very prolific and very interesting composer. And Talia's posted recordings of a few of his tunes, sent me a link to a great radio show about Andy that I mentioned a few weeks ago. I played a tune of his a few weeks ago. I'm going to try another one that Talia also sent me. Again, as I said this last time, these tunes are supposed to be in sets. You usually play a few tunes in a row and go back and forth, but it's a bit beyond my my ability to get more than one of them together at a time. But by the late, great Andy Dixon. Andy died a year ago, tragically and much too young, but left us with a lot of great music. As far as I can tell, hundreds, if not thousands of tunes. I posted a photo of this. Louise Bevan, I don't know if Louise is listening, and if she's got her mandolin out, there's even a chart for this one. This is another one of these tricky tunes. He had a way of stringing together what should be simple melodies in fairly complex forms. So as usual, I'm going to play it through rubato once and try to remember where the notes are on this instrument, and then see if I can do it not as fast as it should be, but a little faster. This one's called Deal Me In the key of G major. Deal Me In by Andy Dixon. Thank you, Talia. Thank you all of you for, again, your patience with my attempts to get my fingers around this crazy little instrument tuned in fifths. Who'd have thought? I'll keep working on that. Maybe. So I played The Hard Drive by Andy Dixon 2 weeks ago and Deal Me In. And when Talia posted herself recording those, she played those two as a set. So maybe in a few weeks, I'll see if I can make that happen. We'll see. No promises. I mentioned Roberta and Glenn's birthdays. I'm going to mention Rob Faust's birthday again before the end of the show. I also want to wish a very happy birthday to Tanya Filipovich, a very good friend of mine from Toronto. Tanya actually used to live in my house. Tanya was a very important babysitter to my son when he was a younger boy. And a marvelous friend, a very talented woman, does a lot of really interesting, very creative things, writes a bunch of songs. I've hooked up with Tanya a bit recently to write some charts for tunes that she's composed that are used as soundtracks for some TV shows. So anyway, she had a birthday on Monday, and I want to say happy birthday to her, in case she's listening. Back to this guitar with the G string that won't play in tune. Another of my regular reminders that if you're interested in some recorded music, again, please check the links on the side of the Facebook page. Look for my Bandcamp page where you can buy everything I've recorded. You can buy things I've recorded in a lot of places, but Bandcamp is always the best way to do it. Here's an album you can get there by the Special Interest Group. I'm very proud of this record, my favorite band that I put together a few years ago. The bass player in that band is a very good friend by the name of Ian D'Souza, who actually gave me a call this morning. We had a chat. It was so fun to see him. I hadn't seen his face in a while. Ian is as I say, a member of the Special Interest Group, a fantastic bassist, really one of the best musicians anywhere. A very creative and brilliant guy. And he introduced me to this tune. He recommended that I learn this and sing it with the Special Interest Group. And I've been working on it for months. It's a hard tune, and I'm not sure I totally got it, but I'm going to give it a shot today. It's by a band from Glasgow called the Blue Nile, that I don't think is together anymore, although the Blue Nile was famous for their sort of reclusive or anti-industry sort of stance, so you never know. But Paul Buchanan of the Blue Nile wrote this tune, and the band recorded it. And I'm going to see if I can take a run at it. And a special dedication to Ian D'Souza. So this is called Over the Hillside. I got a couple of things to adjust, as you know. Make sure my mom can hear my singing. Working night and day, I try to get ahead. I don't get ahead this way. Working night and day, the railroad and the fence. Watch the train go round and round the bend. Over the hillside, over the moment, over the hills and waiting. Working night and day, I try to get ahead. Working night and day don't make no sense. Walk me into town, the ferry will be there to carry us away into the air. Side, over white water, over the hills and falling. over the hillside for my good buddy Ian. I don't know if Ian was able to tune in and gave me a call earlier today. He had a busy day. But anyway, thanks for indulging me on that. I keep saying this with just about everything I play, but another tune to keep working on. Oh, echo. You're going to tell me there's echo on my voice. Okay. That should be better again. Hopefully. Anyway, thanks to the Blue Nile. What a great band they were. My usual message of love for all of you, and then one more tune before we call it a night. If you're watching regularly, you'll know that over the last few weeks I've been going back to the principles of a just recovery that I was quoting a lot last year during this show, trying to remind us that as we hopefully start to build our way out of this pandemic, that maybe this is really an opportunity to build a better world and to do some things a little differently than we have. I'm not always all that hopeful we're going to succeed in that, but I'm going to keep pushing for it. So every week I've been going through my principles of a just recovery that I used to hang up behind me on the wall. Here's one for this week. Put people's health and well-being first. No exceptions. Put people's health and well-being first. No exceptions. Two things that strike me this week about that one. Two themes. Water and healthcare that I want to talk about. Last Monday, March 22nd, was World Water Day. I don't know how many even knew that. I don't know how broadly that particular day gets marked, but that's a pretty important thing. And it seems to me that nothing is more basic to our health and well-being than fresh, clean water. But that's a problem in a lot of places. I come from Canada, where dozens and dozens of First Nations across Canada are under water advisories. Some of those communities haven't had clean, drinkable tap water for decades. Entire generations are growing up without being able to trust the water, that the water that comes out of their taps won't make them sick. And that's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And I'm ashamed for the country that I come from, that we still have that situation for the First Peoples of our land. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, promised during the 2015 federal election, that's 2 elections ago, that he would end all drinking water advisories on First Nations by March of 2021. I'd like to point out that it is March of 2021, and some of those situations have been rectified, but a lot of them haven't. So there's a lot of work to do there. And at the same time, corporate interests continue to treat water as a commodity in really despicable and disgusting kind of ways. Nestle, a huge corporation, recently sold its water business to Wall Street investors for almost $4.5 billion. Ironically, one of Nestle's brands of bottled water is called Pure Life. It's happening at the same time when water has started to become traded. Water futures are being traded on the stock exchange. Futures trading is a despicable practice at the best of time, if you ask me. Radically divorces human need from exchange value. And water, if there's anything we shouldn't be doing that with, I mean, pork bellies maybe, but we shouldn't be trading futures on water. We should be making sure that everyone in the world has clean water, and we're doing a bad job of that. So there's my first thought about people's health and well-being. I also want to take a moment just to talk about healthcare as we mark the anniversary of the beginning of this pandemic. There have been lots of shout-outs to healthcare workers and healthcare systems. I want to echo my thanks to all the people who work in healthcare, and particularly echo my commitment and my thanks for strong public healthcare systems. I don't know where we'd be. Those of us who are lucky enough to live in places with public healthcare systems are very, very lucky. And this is a real personal ring for me this week. I got my first COVID vaccination yesterday, and I'm profoundly lucky to live in a place that has a public healthcare system and provides that, in spite of the disgusting fights happening about access to vaccines that are happening all over the world, and the ways that poorer nations are, it'll be decades, it seems, before people are vaccinated in places in Africa, for example. And despite the constant undermining of public health care systems here in the UK and in Canada and in many places and in many developed nations, so-called developed nations like the United States, where there isn't even a public health care system, I just want to call all of us to pay attention to that and to think about ways that we can collectively put people's health first. It's my thoughts for the day. Thanks for listening to me. You know I love you. That's why I say these things. I'm going to play one more tune. I'm going to end with my usual loop. Loop out, spend a bit of time building up a loop and jam out over it for you all. As usual, it takes a bit of time. In case you want to fill up your drink for the last tune. Double dedication this time. I mentioned Rob Faust earlier. Rob's an old friend and a brilliant mask maker and mask theater actor. Does really interesting work. I mentioned that he's from New Orleans, which is why I dedicated that first tune to him, or that second tune to him. I met Rob in Toronto when he was living there. He fell in love with a lovely woman from California and moved to California. And so I'm going to do a tune with the California theme and dedicate this to Rob on his birthday, his birthday was Tuesday, but happy birthday, Rob. I also want to say hello to my fabulous sister, Bronwyn Barrett, on the West Coast. These are both West Coast people getting this dedication. Bronwyn lives in Vancouver. And if you listen regularly, you know that she's sent me endless suggestions for tunes I can do, especially in my theme of playing tunes from the 70s and 80s and even earlier. This is a tune from the 60s, but this is a tune on her list, and it's been a couple of weeks since I got to one of Bronwyn's tunes. So for Rob, happy birthday, and for Bronwyn, thanks for your suggestions. This is a tune by John and Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas, as I say, with a California theme. It's called California Dreamin'. Thanks for listening. you. I love you. I will see you soon.